it's Scott Rockfile back with another podcast review. Going to talk about drones and the beginning of my journey. If you follow me on YouTube, there will be a visual content to this podcast. So I never really expected to get into the drone hobby. It just didn't look my kind of thing. I wasn't into RC stuff. RC cars, RC planes, RC helicopters. Been around my life. I actually did a remote here a couple years ago from a place. And all of it looks great. It's just not my kind of thing. I used to like buying things and tinkering with it, but now I'm kind of more of an Apple guy. Technology, I just want it to work, right? So long story short, I had no intentions. I am not a professional drone pilot, nowhere near that now. I do have my trust certificate. I'm working on my Part 107 license. I have registered my drone that's over 249 grams. I'm following the rules. I dipped my big toe in, and then I just dove in head first. So the whole reason I got a drone in the first place was one of my tech reviewers reviewed the DJI NEO. It's a tiny little drone. It does all sorts of really cool AI things. And now that I've graduated to something bigger, I'm going to keep it because it's wonderful for doing things like, hey, take a selfie, a droney or whatever. It'll orbit around you. It'll fly up. It'll fly down. It'll do all this automatically with just one or two presses of a button. And it's wonderful. Like when you get to a place that you're going to film or do a vlog or whatever, you could just throw it up in the air and have it like give an establishing shot. Wonderful for that kind of stuff. Following me around, it's fabulous. It really is. And the wonderful thing about a NEO, and I would recommend it to anyone who wants to get into drones, you can also dip your toes into a little FPV flying, which we'll explain, and a little bit of actual drone photography. The little NEO does 4K 30 frames per second, which is pretty darn good for something its size. The next step up for their drones, whether it be the Flip or the AVATA 2, both of those have a bigger sensor, bigger camera that's also available on the Mini 4 Pro and things like that. It's a much more professional-looking camera. It's actually the same sensor on those drones that you will find in their action cameras. But the NEO, it's a step down, but it's $199 US. $200 and you're instantly flying. I took it out of the box. I had it do all the AI stuff out in the backyard. It was spectacular. It performed flawlessly. So then I started using the app and flying it around with the app, which you can use on your phone. And that gives you some basic controls. And I was flying it around and I quickly hit the limitations of the things I wanted to do with it. I really want to take it out and get some really great photography of Alaska. I live in Alaska now. So one of the main reasons is having this is when I go on a hike, I can throw it up. It can follow me through the woods, and then we come out on something more spectacular. And I knew eventually, after playing with this for a while, photography was one of the main things I would want the drone for. I also dipped my toes into FPV. They were having a sale after I'd had the NEO for about a month or two, and I picked up the new version of the goggles, which are much cheaper than their regular goggles, the goggles N3 or 3N. And then I also picked up the hand controller because it was only $99, and it's more like a video game controller, and it's the RC3 motion controller, Motion 3 controller. And I'm happy. Most of the time, I take the drone up to take like sunset pictures and fly around on the beach. And I really haven't had it long enough to put it through its paces. I got this in the wintertime in Alaska, starting to learn how to use it. So in spring and summer and things warm up and I get out more, I can use it and know already be, acclimated to all the things that it can do. Well, fast forward a couple months and I'm like, I really want to do more. And one of the things I've really loved is FPV. Now, before I get into this, there's FPV guys out there that will just crucify me if I don't say something like this. I am not an FPV pilot. To me, FPV drone flying is more akin to RC flying. It's people who want to buy their own controller, buy a couple of planes, helicopters, in this case, little drones, and tinker with them. Change the motors, change the props, change the batteries, change the cameras, change the GPS, change everything about it. And it is an amazing hobby that I probably will not be getting fully into. It's just a little more than I want to do, a little more tinkering. But I do love the FPV experience of putting on goggles and being in the drone as I fly. The NEO gave me a great taste of that. And with the motion controller, even better taste. But you quickly realize the Neo is a little underpowered. It's a small drone. It's made to do some selfie things, made to give you a taste of those other things, but doesn't excel at any of that stuff other than the selfie stuff, because that's really what it's made for. I see a lot of people online pushing the Neo beyond its limits, and I don't understand. Well, I understand that you couldn't only afford a $200 drone, and you're going to push it as far as you can because you could buy another one. But when you move up in price, you can get a DJI Flip with the remote controller for $470, something like that. Or you can get the Avata 2 that I did for about $450 without any kind of controllers, but I already had the goggles. I already had the motion controller that syncs up with it. It uses DJI's latest O4 technology. It's the streaming technology that connects you and the drone, gives you the video feed and all that kind of stuff. It is a big step up from the O3, which is kind of the industry standard up to now, in not just DJI drones. In that FPV hobby we talked about, you can buy DJI Guts, the camera, the GPS units, the control units from DJI, and you're basically getting a similar flying experience to what I get in a DJI drone, just without all the bells and whistles. As I said earlier, FPV is a little more RC, remote control, a hobby, whereas DJI drones, for the most part, kind of fly themselves. Sure, there's a sport mode that gets faster, and you can put some of these drones into full manual mode. Both the Neo and the Avata 2 can be put into full manual mode. That's not something I'm really interested in. I've played around with the simulators. I have talked to some FPV guys. I've watched a lot of FPV videos. Again, a little more than I want to do. It's akin to, I don't know, running a remote control helicopter and then flying an actual helicopter. I'm good with DJI and their great software doing some of the work for me. Using the motion controller and flying around as such, I really am enjoying that experience, and having the goggles on, it makes you feel like you're in the drone. And quickly realizing that the Neo was just only going to take me so far is why I picked up an Avata 2. Avata 2, Avata 2, it's their second in a line. Well, it's actually longer than that in FPV drones. This is different than the Neo. It does the one thing and tries to do it well, FPV. You can fly in normal mode, which is kind of automatic. You can fly in sport mode, and you can put it in full manual mode. Now, it's still not going to give you that full FPV experience that you would get with a dedicated FPV RC hobby type drone. Again, you want to tinker with those. You want to try different blades, different motors, different batteries. That is the hobby for you. But they're hard to fly. They're not real easy. They take pride in that. FPV pilots take great pride and they can fly these things. I take great pride in the fact that I cannot. I'm not at that point yet. Maybe I'll give it a try. I'll get the FPV controller that goes with my drone and maybe play with some full manual mode. But what little I did experiment with it, especially in the simulators, it's a little tough, and just a little tougher. I want the drone to slow down when I'm banking so I don't crash the thing. I like the fact that it does some of that stuff. Again, I'm not a FPV drone pilot. There are pros out there who can do amazing things with those little drones. It boggles the mind. Flips and going under things and around things and close to things and under things. It's incredible what they can do on full manual mode. I don't know that I will ever get to that point, but anyway. So this is a little kind of how I got to where I got in the drone hobby. In the middle of this, I picked up the DJI Mic Minis. They're two little square microphones that I can clip to my shirt and do vlogs out. I've used those a little bit. I'm going to use that when interviewing rock stars in person, because I also picked up the DJI Osmo Action 5 action camera, and the microphones connect directly to it, directly to the Neo, directly to my phone or my voice recorder, whatever. Everything is compatible. It's all part of the same ecosystem, and I like that. I like that I can interchange stuff. When I go out today, I could take a drone shot or two with the Neo. I could pull out the Avata and dive down some cliffs. I could pull out the action camera and tell you about it. It's actually been very cost effective to read up a lot, read the reviews. I could have mixed and matched Rode stuff and other drone companies, but honestly, they estimate 85 to 90% of people flying drones have a DJI drone. And so far, my little dealings with DJI, as far as orders, customer service, and whatever, has been exemplary. They're a great company who makes great technology. Literally, as someone with no drone experience, I was up within 5 to 10 minutes of getting that Neo. I literally got it, charged it up, read the instructions, watched a few videos, walked outside, and started using it. It was that simple. Then I started flying it with my phone. Then I got a controller. Then I got a better controller. Then I got the FPV stuff. And then I eventually got another drone. The AVATA 2 is a more powerful drone. It's a bigger drone. It weighs more. It weighs over 300 grams. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, then you have to register it. Well, in the United States, yes, you have to register a drone that's over 249 grams. It's a $5 registration fee, and it lasts for 3 years. That's it. That's all I had to do. All my other drones will be covered on it. Now, if I get my Part 107, which is your official drone license, and I can start making money with drones. By the way, my channels are not monetized. I'm not making any money off any of this. This is all for recreation and your information. One day I will, I'm studying for it already, and will get my Part 107 license, my UAS license, and be able to make money with the drone, fly more places, go higher, that kind of stuff. So a few of the rules, you want to start out with something small, something under 249 grams. I would recommend the Neo or the Flip. DJI's Flip is a little bigger than the Neo, costs a little bit more, much better camera, but still does all those AI functions, and will get you a little farther down the drone road. It's just a little bigger props, heavier. It stands the wind a little better. Also, because it has prop guards, the wind catches it, but if you have a Neo, you're already used to that. And the same thing with the AVATA. It's got these guards built into the design of the drone, which do a great job at protecting it when it's flying, like if you casually brush a tree or something, and gives it a little more stability to the whole frame instead of just having open props that a lot of FPV drones have. So now my current drone is an FPV. I have to wear the goggles. I have to use the motion controller. You have to use the FPV gear with this, but I knew that going in. What I wanted was a better camera and a more robust drone. I was kind of between the Flip and this, and for about the same price, I got this because I already had the controllers for it. To get the Flip these days, you have to buy it with one of the controllers that I already own. That doesn't make any sense. I also looked at a Mini 4 Pro. Would really like that drone for cinematic stuff, but right now you have to buy it with a remote control. I already own the remote controls, and yes, I could sell them on the secondary market, but I don't really want to fool with all that. I got my stuff. It's all brand new. It's all got my name on it or whatever. Yes, by the way, registering my drone, I do have tape on the side with the number, and I have some nice stickers that are going to go on it. But there was a bit of confusion when I started out, because a lot of things say that to fly recreationally, you need a drone that's under 249 grams. Well, it turns out you can fly a bigger drone recreationally as long as you register it, as long as you're not flying it for profit, making any money, or the intent to make any money. I'm not selling any of my footage. I'm not doing any of that yet, and I won't until I get my Part 107 UAS license. So in the meantime, it was a little confusing that that was a dividing line for not just the weight and registration, but also recreational. But it turns out it's not. You can fly a heavier drone recreationally. You just have to register it. But if you plan to fly over people, buildings, events, that kind of thing, you will need your Part 107 UAS license, whatever they call it these days. There are several apps you can use to find out if you can fly where you are. If you're near an airport, military base, other things, you're going to get a no-fly zone. DJI removed geofencing earlier this year, so there's no of those kind of limitations. They kind of trust you. But when you boot up the app or you boot up the controller, it tells you where you are. It knows where you are thanks to GPS and will say something along the lines of, you're in a restricted area, have you asked for permission, that kind of thing. It will remind you. This stuff is pretty smart technology. And where I work is close. I get an automatic approval for anything up to 400 feet, but I still have to open up the app and say, I'm going to fly here for over the next 2 hours. Please give me approval. And you instantly get a text and an email. And it says, you are approved. And then I go fly in our backyard. Most places I go, like there's a place up in Nikiski near the beach, it's a wide open zone. There's no airports around. There's nothing. I don't have to ask for permission. I can fly all over that beach. And it's in a zone where not even many people live. So it works out great for me. I never want to be a nuisance. I never want to be out and about and be one of those people that, oh my God, they're flying a drone. It's so loud and irritating. I go away from people, folks. I'm trying to get footage. I'm not trying to, hey, look what I can do. Because really, for me, this is for filming what I'm doing or what I'm seeing. Or when I go hiking this summer, I'm going to take it and show you where I am. But if there's other people around, I won't do it because like most people, I find it irritating. And those are the people that are giving drone pilots a bad name. But if you go the legal route, if you follow the rules, if you get your trust certificate, you can fly recreationally. If you get a heavier drone, register it, and go have some fun with these things. The technology has gotten to the point where someone like me who doesn't want to goof around with settings and changing out motors and stuff, who just wants to buy a nice piece of technology and fly through the skies with it, take some great pictures and some great video, DJI is doing some wonderful things. Again, there is a whole nother side to the hobby. If you want to be that 10 to 15% that stays away from DJI and does your own DIY thing, more power to you. I watch your videos. You guys are amazing. They've got garages full of extra props and extra motors, and it's a giant hobby for them, like RC was probably for some of them. They're old enough to have flown helicopters. I saw one the other day was flying a helicopter. Those are great, but they don't have cameras on them. So what? You just fly the helicopter around, I guess. Again, just flying around in something or flying something around always reminded me of a toy, and I'm not putting anything down. I had friends growing up that were into RC planes, the earliest ones that were gas-powered, and it was a major hobby. They brought out these tackle boxes full of extra gear and the batteries and putting a little fuel in them and flying them. They were really loud, and they had to have long runways to take off, and yeah, it was fun to go fly with them for a day and try not to crash their plane, but it wasn't like this where you pull it out of your backpack and you turn it on and say, do this, and it does it, and it follows you around, and it's pretty cool. Now, the Avata doesn't do any of that stuff. It really has to be controlled with the FPV stuff. But I knew that. Again, if I wanted a Flip or a Neo, this would be a different conversation. Started with the Neo, got to the Avata, and I'm having a blast with it. Where am I going to go from here? I'm eventually going to get my Part 107 UAS license from the FAA. Costs a little bit of money, but it's not horribly expensive. And then you get a card in the mail, and I'm a licensed drone pilot and can make money with it and work for everybody from real estate agents to travel magazines to companies that want to put a video on their website, put videos on my company's website. Haven't done any of that stuff yet because it's not legal for me to do it. I'm enjoying taking video of Alaska sunsets and stuff. If you like the beach, please follow my YouTube channel. So anyway, that's kind of a long-winded roundabout story of how I got into drones and where I'm going to go next. I eventually see myself getting a more cinematic drone and actually trying to take some very professional videos of Alaska. But right now, I'm still having fun with it. And the Avata 2, however you put the pronunciation on it, is a great FPV drone to dip your toes into the water of what is a massive hobby if you want to get into it. Scott, I'm Rockfile. More podcasts are on the way. I hope I wasn't too repetitive in there. Again, there's a video component to this on YouTube. You should follow my YouTube channel. And have a spectacular day. Thanks for listening to the whole thing. You're awesome.